Yeah, g'day everyone, Aussie Shooter here again, and recently I posted a video regarding why the taxpayer has to get slugged for the bill when it comes to housing all these crooks. And that post, wow, it's certainly generated a lot of interesting conversation, and I'm really glad it did, because it actually gets people thinking about these things and trying to think of a different way that we can, handle these sort of issues. And today's paper in Thursday, November 14th. There you go, on the Telegraph right there, and you can see here it says all citizens hold a stake in crime. All citizens hold a stake in crime, and that's true. I mean, when it comes to all this stuff, I mean, it costs all of us as a community. It costs us emotionally, it costs us financially, and also heavy cost is paid by the victims as well. So anyway, today there's a really good letter here by Ted Ellis from Botany, and it's called Saving Legal and Prison Costs Outweighs Justice, and it pretty much touches on exactly what I was talking about in my previous video. And Ted Ellis says the inadequate sentence and ensuing furore from the Loveridge case can be explained in simple terms: dollars and cents. Before a bill is issued to place a person on trial, the DPP first applies several tests, mainly the severity of the crime, the chance of a conviction, and the public interest in the matter. Because a trial can cost tens of thousands of dollars, and an actuary will recommend whether the costs outweigh the risk. Many serving and retired police officers such as myself can recall having matters no-billed because they don't meet the test. Whenever an accused is to go to trial and make an offer to plead a lesser charge, as Loveridge did, thereby saving the state a great deal of expense, the DPP will generally snap up the offer. Secondly, courts are under great pressure to keep custodial sentences low, as costs are approaching $100,000 a year to keep a prisoner in jail. Justice in New South Wales is not blind, just cost efficient. And this blew me away, really. I was so surprised, because a friend of mine recently told me that he reckons it costs about 80 grand a year to house a prisoner, and I just couldn't believe it. And this letter from an ex-police officer suggests that it costs almost $100,000 a year to house a prisoner, and I just think that's just extraordinary, and it blows me away completely. I mean, I don't understand why the costs have to be that high, and if that is true, then we, the taxpayer, are getting ripped off severely by some of these private firms that quite often are in charge of these prisons. I don't understand what's going on, and I just can't understand. I mean, if I was the Premier and someone came to me and said, "Oh, here you go, here's the bill, it's 100 grand per person," I'd be saying, "What the?" I'd be freaking out, and I'll be going, "What on earth is going on?" I'd be moving heaven and earth to cut down these costs for the taxpayer. But anyway, that's just me. But I don't understand why Barry O'Farrell isn't trying to do the same. Maybe he is, I'm not sure. But really, 100 grand per prisoner. I mean, it doesn't cost me more than, I guess, $15,000 to $20,000 a year to exist in my own home. So I don't understand how, how it costs 100 grand per prisoner. I'm just curious to find out your ideas on this and your input. But anyway, the point of the whole letter is to show that I was right. There is tremendous pressure put on the judiciary by the government to keep the sentences low, because the money associated with this and the upkeep of these guys is huge. So, and obviously the government don't want to introduce a new tax, or tell you that your X bill or XYZ bill are going to go up, even though they're going up tremendously. Like the cost of living in Sydney are huge, right? But a lot of guys have said to me on the post, "Oh, look, this is an issue that's got not very little to do with freedom, that we should just stick to freedom issues." And yeah, I agree, but I like to break it up a little bit. I like to put in a different story every now and then. And to be perfectly honest, this does affect your freedom, but it doesn't affect it in a direct way. It's an indirect way, right? Okay, it affects you by your taxes going up. It affects you by these guys getting out early and being loose on the streets and being free to, cause harm to others. It affects society in general, so it does affect your freedom in an indirect way. So that's why I wanted to bring it up. So that's what's basically going on, guys. And I just wanted to challenge the status quo, and I wanted to say, well, if it's okay for the government to chase you If you owe money to the government will move heaven and earth to chase you to try and get that money off you. If you want to take the government to court because you feel like you've been wronged by the government, guess what? If you happen to lose that court case, the government will make you sell your assets to pay for the court costs if you have to pay for them, and I'm sure that they'll chase you for it. If you owe child support, the government will chase you all across the country to get that child support money off you, and they could even cancel your passport. They won't let you leave the country. So, mate, the government are not scared of chasing law-abiding people for money. I just don't see why can't they chase the crooks for that money with the same sort of vigor. I just don't see why that has to be a controversial subject, and that's the point that I wanted to make. So anyway, guys, look, great conversation in regards to this issue, and I really appreciate your input, guys, and I welcome all your input again if you have any more comments to make. And I'm Aussie Shooter, always fighting for your freedoms and your rights, and I'll catch you later.